Welcome all to the weekly outlook. Boone here from EWPRO. Getting straight into the weekly outlook, looking at the DXY on the daily. Like I've gone over many times, there's a couple of different scenarios here. I'll ask you to go back and watch them from last week. On the H4, we're looking for this wave Z up. We've got this WXY. We're getting this X2, and we can look for that wave Z up. Here's no, they aren't the targets. There's a first and second target at 161.8 and the 123.6. On the H1, we're only looking for buys. Monday, Tuesday, you'd be looking for either a correction in here or a flag on the lower time frames up to the first and the second target. AU on the daily. So again, you'll have to look at my weekly outlook last week to look at the daily, because there's not much on the daily. We're looking at a couple of different scenarios there. But on the H4, you can see what I'm looking at. These arrows, I put all these arrows on before we got this move up here. So we got one up here, we got another one down here. I'm looking for an A, a B, and a C up in here. Or this is just the A, B, C in here. So we're waiting for a correction. This isn't looking really motive. But at this stage, you really need to wait for a correction. We need a correction in here to buy. We don't have that yet, so we're just waiting for that, and then we could look for a buy. I believe there might be no, there's not a hidden divergence on it. GU on the daily, again, we're looking at the lower time frames because there is a couple of different scenarios here. We already got like an A, B, C up in here. It's more bearish now. The H4, like I've mentioned, we got 5 down in here. We lost all that bullish divergence. So I'm looking for, very similar to AU, I'll be looking for a correction in here early next week. And then you could look for a wave C up, like an A, B, C, and then more than likely it'll come down and break that low. The only other option is for a buy is if we get a break above this top here and then we get a correction. Well, then you could look for a buy. Other than that, it's really, wait for a correction. You're just looking for a C up, and then you'd be looking for a sell for possibly another 5 down for like an A, B, C. EU, again, like all the others, there's a couple of different scenarios here, but on EU, I'm looking for an A. We got 3 down in here in the B. I'm looking for a C up. Ideally, it goes up and breaks that top. On the H4, looking for a little correction in here. It's more on the lower time frame. It's very similar to GXY. We got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down in here, lost all the bullish divergence, and now we're getting, this is looking very corrective in here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get more downside before we get that larger C up. I was looking for a flat in here, something to buy, but it never gave that. I was looking for a C down in here, or even here. It doesn't really matter. Like, I'm looking for an A, a B, a C, and then if we get a buy set up, you could look for a C up for an A, B, C, and then more than likely we'll get more downside. Yeah, this is looking very corrective. So, you know, not really looking for the buy. Well, not until we get a buy. You know, if I get a nice sharp move down in here for a running flat, well, and a bullish setup on the lower time frames, well, I can look for an A, B, C, but more than likely it's just an A, B, C before we get more downside. And I've got the targets and that on here because I did put this on Trading View. You can go and have a look at Trading View at this trade idea. But I am looking for like an A, a B, and a C up in here. It's quite slow on the lower time frames. As you'll see, may not be ready to go either. Like I mentioned last week, we may get a bear hidden in here. It doesn't look like we're going to get a bear hidden, but again, this is looking very corrective in here. You know, it's not impulsive at all. Like I was looking for a little flat in here to get in, and I did get in on this for an A, a B. We got a little flat here on the M15, and I got in on that, but got taken out at break even. So again, this is looking very corrective. It's still looking very corrective. So I'll be waiting for a sell setup. More than likely we'll get a sell on it. So yeah, really need impulse down and you know, a bearish setup to sell for that wave Z. But in saying that, I'm looking for a correction of similar size to this over here. So this can keep on going for quite some time before we get that wave Z down. UY's really taken off. Like most of the JPY pairs. We're still in this wave Z on the daily. We got that WXY, X2, and that wave Z up. We got all that bearish divergence. So I am pretty much only looking for sells. The buys are just scalps. We got an A, B, C down in here, like an A, B, C. We did get a little bullish setup over here in the room where we look to buy for this, just a scalp to go and break that top. Well, it's gone a lot further. The only way you can really trade this now is you'd be waiting for an X2, like we got a WXY. You'd be waiting for an X2 and then look for that wave Z up. The only way you can really sell this now is if you know, you got a big move down here and a bearish setup. Need that impulse down and a bearish setup before you could look for a sell. Other than that, you'd just be selling into a correction X2, and then, like I said, you'd be looking for that wave Z up. UY is the same. It's taken off. It's really taken off. This has turned into a wave Y in here on the lower time frame. I was looking at this as a B wave, like a possible B wave. We get an A, 1, 2, 3 up, and a flat before we get more upside. But it's turned motive in here. So this has kept on going. We were looking for this C up, like this A, B. We were looking for this C up to the 100 pip. Well, it's gone way past that now. So it has turned motive. More than likely it'll get up to this 161.8 now. This 161.8 extension in this, like a WXY. You'd be waiting for the X2 and then looking for that wave Z up at this stage. I wouldn't go jumping in at the top of the market here. There has been a few little buy setups on it, but you know, it does get risky. Last week we did have all that bearish divergence, so it made it hard. There was a little setup here. I said, you know, if you're going to take that, you know, you got to watch out for this 100 pip here. and it has broken straight through that. So again, you're really waiting for a larger correction before you look for that wave Z up. USD CAD. This is very messy. We like I mentioned many times, we never got this wave Z up breaking the ending point of wave Y, and then we got this large correction in here. So again, I've just been looking at the lower time frames for direction. We did get the A, B, C up to that 100 pip that we were looking for. We lost all the bearish divergence now, and I dare say on the lower time frame, it's a buy. Well, on the H4, we have a bull hidden here. So we've got like a WXY. We're getting an X2. You could look for a wave Z up. On the H1, we're getting bullish divergence, so it's a buy. Really only can look for a buy. It's not really giving us a buy. On the lower time frames, you may be getting a buy set up here. On the real lower time frames, which I'm not going to go down to, but we got an impulse here. You may get like an A, a B, and a C in here, some sort of a flat, and then you get like motive structure going breaking that top. So you got to wait for a correction, or you got to look for a buy setup on the lower time frames pretty much to get into that. The Swissy on the daily. On the daily, nothing's changed. We got that 3 down in here. Got a nice impulse up, waiting for a correction on the daily wherever this wave ends. We'll be waiting for a correction and then looking for a buy. The H4, it's getting very choppy up here at the top. We got that 5 up. We got the larger correction. We got an A, B, C. We got a C up here, a deep correction. So we get another one up here, and more than likely we'll just keep on giving us deep corrections like this. So it's very difficult to trade. I mentioned this last week. If you're getting in, more than likely it'll get you out at break even, and won't go anywhere. It just breaks the top, like here, just broke the top. More than likely get a deep correction, and this can go on for quite some time. So it's very difficult to trade this. You'd be trading it on the lower time frames and pretty much just scalping until we get that larger daily correction, and then we'll be loading up. EG, like I've been mentioning for a long time now, this is looking very corrective. It did take off there, and there was a buy in here we were looking for a couple of weeks ago to buy that. It did go further than I thought. Like we were looking to go and break this top. We had that 1, 2, 3 down, bullish setup to buy. It did go further than I thought, but it's come straight back down again. So again, it's more bearish. So I wouldn't be selling down here because we are at lows on the daily. The real there may be you may be getting a bull hidden here. Looks like we're getting a bull hidden on the H1 in here. So for the sell, you really need it to go and break that low and then give you a correction for the sell. Other than that, it's more of a buy, but there is no buy set up on it yet. You'd be looking at the lower time frames, waiting for an impulse up and a little correction to buy, just to go and break that top. It may take off. We are at lows on the daily, like this wave here. It did go a lot further than I thought. So yeah, at this stage it is a buy, but there is no buy set up on it at this stage. WTI, we're really looking on the lower time frames. I'm looking for an A, B, C, like I've been looking for a long time, and then an A, B, C. This was quite slow going up. Even if it does break the ending point of wave A over here, I still be looking at it as a B wave. But on the H4, we're looking for that time factor for the correction. We're looking at that WXY, X2 and a Z up. This does have a bull hidden in here, so it may go from here. Again, I'd have to check to see if there's any bullish setups. I've pretty much been staying out of it because we've got all this bearish divergence. I'm got to wait for this larger correction before I can look for the buy. It's very messy. You know, it's still looking very much bearish. You know, we sort of got like 1, 2, 3 up in here, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up in here. So it may give us more downside. It does look very much bearish. And again, it's difficult to buy this until I get that time factor. There's quite a bit left in the time factor here. I'm waiting for that time factor, and then I'll start to look for buys. We did get down to that first target, that 38.2. It may even come down to that 50 fib. Yeah. Gold. It's broken through the weekly 161.8. If I just go to that quickly, we've been looking at this for a long time. You know, well, over here, if you go back through my trading view, I was looking for a sell down to the 38.2 here. That it hit that for the X2, and so we're looking for that WXY X2, and we got that Z up. It's hit both targets, the 123.6 and the 161.8. The daily, we're still in this extended wave, like I've mentioned. We got this like WXY. We're waiting for that X2 now, and then we'll look for that wave Z up. On the H4, there may be still more upside. It's looking very much bearish. I was sort of looking for another one up here, like a WXY X2 and a Z up here. This is becoming a lot larger correction, but we are getting a bull hidden here. So I dare say there is more upside in it, but on the H1, we need a lower low before we can start looking for the buys. We got like 1, 2, 3. I'll be looking for a 4 and a 5 down in here. This is looking very bearish, so I wouldn't be surprised. Well, I'm looking for a lower low here, and then if I get the bullish setup, well, bang, I can look for more upside. Until that happens, yeah, I'll be pretty much staying out. You can look for this sell in here on the lower time frames just to go and break this low. It may not go much further than this low, so you know you definitely want to be at break even at the break of this low here. Silver's very much the same, very similar. We're waiting for well, we got that WXY. I'll be looking for that X2 and then a Z up. H4, similar to gold. I'm waiting for that time factor. We got that like 1, 2, 3, looking for that wave 4 before we look for that wave 5 up. Again, we got a bull hidden there, so I'm not going to go into that, how we trade these. But I'm sure if you join the group, it will be very good for your trading if you do know this. But we got 1, 2, 3. I'm looking for a 4, wave 4 and a 5 down in here, and then I'll start looking for buy setups for that bull hidden. Again, you can look on the lower time frames to sell it. You definitely want to be at break even at the break of this low here. The Bitcoin, if I just get this last section here, we got the wave Y. We got that like WXY X2, and I'm looking for that wave Z up. We do have the time factor on this one, so we can look to buy. We do have the 3 down. We're looking for this A, B, C here. It did get down to, well, actually, it didn't actually get quite to the 100 pip, I don't believe. I've got other fibs on here. I'll take them off. There may be another one down in here. I would be looking for the buy here. It's quite choppy. There is no bear hidden on the H4, so it may go from here. I do believe we do have bullish divergence between the ending point of wave A and the ending point of wave C. So this can go. It's just trying to get a nice setup to buy. I'd be looking at this as an expanding flat in here. So any sort of buy setup you get, definitely can look for it. It's more on the H1. So yeah, I'd be looking for the buy. I'd be targeting this 100 fib first, and then your second target would be that 161.8. So this may turn motive because we are looking at a possible X2 on the daily. So we get like a WXY, X2, and a Z up, or it just turns into an A, B, C up to that 100 fib, and then we get more downside. So if you do get a bullish setup, you definitely can look to buy this. I won't go down to the lower time frames, but you could, yeah, we'd be starting to get a bullish divergence on the lower time frames, so you definitely can start to look for that buy. And there your targets at 100 fib, your first target, and the second target's at 161.8. Or you could hold it to go and break the top, you know, and live through the complete motive structure. You know, live through the 5 waves and it goes and breaks the top. S&P 500 on the daily, we are looking for a larger correction. We got the 5 up in here. I'm looking for a larger correction before we get more upside on the daily. Still, I wouldn't be surprised. We're getting a bear hidden here. So on the H4, we're getting a bear hidden. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get another one down in here. Some sort of WXY, X2, and we get a Z down in here. And then if we get any bullish setups, well, then you could start to look for buys. But more than likely, it'll be 5 down in here, a correction, another 5 down, because I am looking for a larger correction. So there was a couple of buy scalps on this during the week, but yeah, we're starting to get bearish divergence here now. So you'll have to be very careful buying. It's more of a sell, like I said, that there's a bear hidden there, and there is no bearish setup. You'd be going right down to the lower time frames looking for a bearish setup. It may be here where you get that bearish setup. Ideally, you know, you get in on the first one. It's going to break that low. AU200. AU200, we bounced off that 100 fib on the daily. Got that A, B, C, bounced off that 100 fib. We may get a larger C down in here. we got 5 down in here, A, B, C, so we may get another 5 down in here. It's very choppy. It's been quite difficult. Well, there was a nice sell set up on this up the top here, but we sort of we are getting a bear hidden here as well. We are getting a bear hidden there, so we may get a little scalp just to go and break that low. Really, we need the 5 down in here before you could start to look for a buy. And if you are looking for the buy, it may be quite choppy because you just get an A, a B, and a C in here before we get any more upside, or it turns a lot more motive and we get that C down on the weekly, like I showed. But yeah, really not much on it. This is giving a bull hidden. We don't see this very often, but we got an impulse up and a very deep pullback, and we have a bull hidden in here. So more than likely it's just an A, a B, and we get a C up in here, and then more than likely we get more downside. So if you are looking, there was a little buy set up in there to buy. If you are looking to buy this, I'd be starting to look to take half off at the break of this top, and you definitely want to be at break even because of that bear hidden present. The FTSE, this is a very ugly pair to trade. We finally did get like an A, a B, and we're getting a very choppy. So we got like a WXY in here. More than likely we'll get an X2, a large correction, and then you could look for buys again. On the daily, the H4, are we getting bearish divergence? I think we are starting to get bearish divergence on the H4. Yeah, even on the H1, we're starting to get that bearish divergence. So yeah, I wouldn't be buying it. The only way I'd be looking to buy is if you get a flat, like an A, a B, you get a sharp move down in here for a C, a running or expanding flat, and then you get a bullish setup. Well, then you could look for another, like an A, B, C. But yeah, other than that, it's more of a sell. You may get a sell into this C wave, and then you'll have to be careful because it may turn into a flat for more upside. And lastly, the DAX. This one's a lot cleaner. We were looking for the buy setup here. We got that. And I believe last week we were looking for a buy setup too, because we had that bull hidden. So we do have an impulse up now. It's not much of a correction though. It may turn more complex, the correction. But we got a nice impulse up. So, you may have got an entry to buy this after the pullback. Now you'd have to wait because this may turn more complex and you get a B wave in here, a deep B wave to this, and then you get the A, B, C just breaking that top, and then you get an A, B, C as a running or expanding flat before you get the upside. So you would have to be careful of that if you're looking to buy, because if you're looking to get in here, you have to be careful. Like I just mentioned, it may become deep, that correction, and it may just be a C up, give you another C down before it goes. So I hope you enjoyed the weekly outlook. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.